Welcome for a current commentary KSP livestream. This livestream will be a career run of KSP. It's on basically normal difficulty, but plasma blackout has been turned on and the extra ground stations have been removed. And that's it, yes. Let's go. We've got let's start. Load quicker, come on game. I've got a mission. This is the second time I've played this after the latest update. So grab our standard 2 missions of just launch and just launch and gather signs. So I feel negligible. Always check your staging, folks. Probably should have gone for a third goo canister. Launchpad signs, yes. Keep it, crew report, keep it. EVA. EVA report. And now we can activate this crew report in this light atmosphere. Observe view, yes. I don't think we actually went high enough for the parachute to work properly there. Which is why ejector seats have to be as powerful as they are, is to get the pilot. Ejector seats have to be powerful enough to be effective at a large range of altitudes, including on the ground and in the air. In the air, that you try and make the pilot clear the explosion of an aircraft being hit by a missile or what have you. And on the ground, which is the key one, is something goes wrong on the ground, they can get high enough up that the parachute can deploy properly. So we now have a more diverse selection of missions to grab. Now we'll do the form test, activate the part through the stage. No, this is just awkward. Too panicky. Too panicky. We'll go straight to the orbital mission. So we'll go bigger rocket, more science. Don't enough science for that. Strategy, we'll go for more science. More science is always a good bet. Partly because we wouldn't take a lot of effort to get all this science back, even if we just repeated the same basic mission from earlier. So we'll give it a bigger engine. Yeah. Although it's not necessary for suborbital flights, it's still, I don't know, it just feels nice to have a heat shield on. Yeah, you know, that should be fine. We will add a little bit of stability. How many parts have we got left? Oh, we've got plenty of parts. You know what? Crap. So this blue dot is aerodynamic center, and the yellow dot is center of mass. For this to be stable, the blue dot needs to be below the yellow dot. First stage, this goes off, this decouples, and back. And go. So something we can do here, get more science more quickly. Take data, board. So we ignite the first stage and accelerate it 1 to 3 Gs. We're not trying to reach orbit, merely to leave the atmosphere to get above Kerbin's Kármán line, which is the boundary that counts for space. On Earth, the Kármán line is 1,000 kilometers, and it was estimated by a bloke called a French guy called Mr. Kármán, I believe, and it's the altitude where for an aircraft to be generating enough lift to stay airborne, it would be traveling at orbital velocity. Stage. Because we have such a short impulse with the small engine, we're waiting till we're higher up and in thinner atmosphere. As you can see, as the atmosphere gets thinner, engine gets more efficient and delta V goes up. So when it reaches 700 meters a second, we'll ignite it. And we're in the upper atmosphere, which means, nope, I wanted to play shoot, stop vibration. There we go. Get as much science as we can. Let's accelerate time because we can. We're not quite going to reach orbit, that's a shame. Not orbit, space. We'll just add a third stage, it's fine. Get the parachute ready. To increase the air density, air pressure required, how low down the parachute will come out of its housing. We're not changing the altitude where it fully deploys, merely when it opens up. This is going to be a very high G re-entry. We're just going straight down. Yeah, peaked about 5G. There we go. No, I don't want. No, we've got more than enough altitude. Now we're in the thicker atmosphere, so we can use the thing. Oh, that was me thinking we'd land in the water. Now we descend at 6.7 meters a second. Interestingly, this is only about 2 meters a second faster than the impact tolerance of a bag of flour hitting the ground. Use this on the ground. Yep. Yes, I am aware we can get signs by hopping out and doing it again, but that's boring. We're not desperate for signs yet. There we go, but we've got plenty of signs out there, that's for sure. Now we have decisions for orbital. So this allows us to have proper side boosters, sensible sized wings or winglets. It's not normally what I refer to a winglet as. I normally call winglets the little sticky up things on the wingtips. Aerodynamic nose cones for when you've got side boosters. So we've got 48. We can pick from more science, batteries and probes, better control, but we won't go for that one. Be able to take extra passengers in a sensible capsule. We might go for that next. It's not helping us in any of the missions we're aiming for yet. And this one, where we get a vacuum optimized engine, which is lighter than the other ones, and a strange side mounted engine, more fuel tanks. So in terms of helping us to get to orbit, it's these two. But this one won't be useful for science. I'll go for the engines. Any sensible missions? Nope. Admin buildings. What we're going to do here is... Oh, we don't have the reputation for it. Okay. That costs funds, and that turns... Yeah, no. Choices. So have a choice. Either try and reach orbit or just try and leave the atmosphere. Mission separate. Ooh, this is a nice looking new engine. Because this was in the latest update. They replaced the engine design of the Thumper SRB. Well, until quite recently was the second largest solid rocket booster. Just add fins to it. Just because stability. And just for the realism, let's add a thing. Communication equipment. We don't need that much fuel. You know what? Yes, we do. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm still waiting for it to load. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're off. Got an acceleration of 2G, or in excess of 2G. Ooh, and the overpowered gyroscopes doing their work in the capsule. Jebediah looking very happy. The white cloud of supersonic effects have formed around the aircraft. Very nice. Lovely bit of shockwaves. They updated the way they model shockwaves in this, or visually display it. I don't know. Starting to get hypersonic heating effects, even though we're doing less than Mach 3. Yeah, I think we brought too much fuel. Let's tilt this over a little to soften re-entry slightly. And jettison. Go heat shield first. Any signs we can get from up here? We'll just let it tumble as we rise up. And we're well and truly above the common line. Good. Notice when we get into space, the background music changes. Or more, there is background music. There is a building that we need to unlock before we can, and basically get our Kerbals to hop out of the spaceship. But because we brought the antenna, we can do things like transmit data and hope it doesn't use up all our battery, which it does. Well, that's silly of you. But don't worry, for some reason we're still able to take measurements. And the craft is aerodynamically stable in the correct orientation, so we're fine. Either that or Jeb is going to get very warm. Whack it up to 9.5 Gs. Why not? You only live once. Well, we're certainly landing in water this time. Come on, parachute, slow me down, slow me down. Yes, there we go. And we descend slowly as ever. But at least we can speed up time. Finley is ready for our soft landing. Now we're in the water, we're in a new biome. Oh, did I forget to do a crew report while I was in the thing? in space. Oh well, we can do it on our orbital mission. So now we've got enough to justify the expense. Excellent science. Get more science equipment. Ah. And we'll get Are there any tourism missions? Yes, there we go. Now these are very lucrative. So much so, we're going to make it in the spaceplane hangar. And let's be extra scary for the tourists and have no pilot. We're going to treat them nice and safely and have redundant parachute system because we are good custodians of the public. I don't mind this top bit being a little expensive, as it's going to be recovered, and we're just going to go straight up and straight down. Press R, you change the type of symmetry so that, because in the spaceplane hangar, the symmetry to vertical line down the center of the aircraft mirror image, but in the rocket assembly, axial symmetry, which is more useful when you want things like 3. So this costs us 5,000, 1,500 to launch. I was thinking about re-entry. Will it slow down quickly enough to let us have 2 capsules? You know what? Live life dangerously. We'll stick a big bulbous Russian thing at the bottom. And the Russian capsule comes with an inbuilt heat shield and decoupler. So this only costs us 100 V, whatever this currency is. Right. This is the first Taurus mission, so T1, and it's B variant because it's got 2 passengers. Now I've got a little bit of concern regarding stability on the return trip. So, mass there, aerodynamic center is playing funny buggers. We have, there we go. Make sure it's all stable. Excellent. Once we have the passenger aircraft module and wings with control surfaces, we can make a vertically launched spaceplane variant of this rocket. And yeah. I just realised we forgot to put the passengers in it. But you know what? We're a responsible space agency. We will test if this will land safely before we put passengers in it. Now, because this craft is heavier, it won't go as high. Launch nice and routinely. Oh, Jeb's in here. Okay. Stakes now higher, but at least we can take a crew report and gain some science at altitude then. You know what? We should do this test properly. Turn off stability assist. The other aspect of this stream is testing the difference between StreamYard screen sharing, as my live stream means, or using OBS. And I'm not sure in terms of the viewing experience, but certainly for playing the game, StreamYard is much more, doesn't hamper the frame rate of KSP quite as heavily. So now we've got burnout. We're not going to make it. We've got too bulbous a thing. Whopping great big wings at the top. And get overtaken by the motor, which actually means that the rocket motor had a higher mass for its area than we did. So we'd have more momentum if we'd kept it attached. But we didn't. So now we suffer for it. No science to be gained from a crew sad times. I am well aware that I am physically able to revert the flight, however I do not wish to. This tumble could be problematic. Have we got it stable in the right direction? Seems to be returning to the point we want. No. I'll just manually take over. There we go. Does it teeter around this point? You know what? If we go transfer crew. Yes, from here to there. Now I've got the mass of a Kerbal lower down. So it should, in theory, be more stable. It seems to be oscillating about the wrong point. So this design is terrible. It's not safe enough for passengers in that it's not returning to retrograde the way I want it to. And we didn't have the delta V. Sad times. So now that we've forced it the right way up, it does seem to be fixing itself. So what we're going to do is just add more motors. And we're going to replace the Russian capsule with a standard original game capsule. Drogue chutes deploy. Safety feature is working. Sometimes the top half of the rocket seems to be okay. We are probably going slow enough for a safe impact with one parachute and the drogue chutes, but better safe than sorry. Descend, 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 descend. Descend, 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 descend. Yes, if we wanted to. Did I even do the crew report I wanted? So now we're just going to launch the A variant and launch it twice. Now you know what, we'll design another rocket and then come back to it. It would be boring to show the same thing multiple times. We change this. Yeah, that'll make it 12. Well, will it? Yeah, that'll make it 3. Got quite a large upper stage. And we'll cram as much sides as we can in this. Oh, Val can be the first Kerbal to orbit. And you know, I like the safety of the drag chute. There we go. So we'll call this the O1 as it's the first one to get to orbit. And we'll call it the O1A as it only sends one Kerbal up. Five. Just checking the staging. Good. Let's go. Now we don't need fins because we've got a pilot and this engine's got gimbling, so it's all good. The pilot means it's not critical that it's aerodynamically stable, although it's still useful. Or it doesn't need to be very stable, it just needs to be slightly stable. And we're off. Bit of excessive thrust at this point. Eject side boosters, throttle up. Very slow. Maybe I would have been better off having 2 of these engines rather than SLBs to deploy. Oh well, we'll see. We're accelerating. The acceleration is slowly increasing. No, this isn't stable. There's the boosters hitting the ground. Come on, rise, boy. Yeah, we've got plenty of thrust to weight ratio. Maybe it would have been desirable to have this thrust to weight ratio at the beginning of the launch, but this is fine. Ooh, that's very nicely done. Well, before drag is considered, the first stage got us almost perfectly over the Kármán line on our suborbital hop. Wait till that's tilted at 45 degrees or so. And let's ignite the second stage. Yes, good. This is increasing the size of our orbit. Get a bit more prograde so as to push the apparatus a bit further away, because the last thing we want is to go over the other side. And then as we burn, we will be descending, and that is undesirable. But there's also no point raising it unnecessarily. Kerbin is definitely considerably more aesthetically pleasing since the update. Let's do that crew report we've been failing to do. Oh no, we did it. Okay. Science, closed doors. About 1,000 meters a second left to do. This is more a race against the apparatus rather than a race against the fuel left. Nowhere near circular yet. We almost have to double our lateral velocity. Oh, there we go. We're nearly there. Only like 300 or 400 meters a second left. We'll coast the apparatus, and then we'll circularize. There we go. We're in orbit. Most of the equipment we brought with us was pointless. Oh well. Right, no one knows. Go back to the space center. We'll leave Val in orbit. We will upgrade one of our buildings. And then do the tourism. Return Val to Kerbin. And then I think we'll call this a night. Astronaut complex. Kerbals will be able to disembark. Are there any more missions while we're here? Suborbital flight, suborbital flight, suborbital. Yeah, why not? So, space plane, hangar. Open. Load. Add a heat shield. Add some coupling. Add the motor. Make sure it's a tourist who's paying this time. There we go. In case that helps with the ascent profile. I left it saved as B. Oh well, we can change that another time. Although to maintain our naming trend, this should be T1A. Let's go. Oh yeah, quick reminder that there's no SAS. Just stability assist opposed to Swedish Airlines or Scandinavian Airlines or Special Air Service. Instead it is stability assist. Guess we could have made this more efficient by throttling it down a bit, but this is KSP and we don't care about that. We're already supersonic and we're relatively low down in the atmosphere. We used up half our fuel. But not half our acceleration. Or delta V. Change in velocity. Oh, that's cool. There seems to be a bit of a ridge in the ocean by the Space Center. Is that a mountain or is that a canyon? The immortal question. Flying so much better than the last one. We're getting hot, hot, hot. Please don't explode. Separate. The extra stability fins at the top are burning up. They're burnt off. Obviously, the baby-sized fins are more vulnerable to heating effects than the goo canisters. Stay Putnik. Mark II. Well, having Mark II on this is appropriate. It'll play on Sputnik. This could be problematic. I'm sure it'll be fine. Because now we've lost the fins. We're reliant on the, well, or are we? Yay! Now just stay alive and we'll complete the mission. Lovely bit of whale music. Oh, we're high. We're very, very high. In the literal sense, not in the drug-related sense. Don't do drugs, kids. Now it is mildly pilot skill. Depends on whether we get down safely. So this will be fun. No, 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 no. Come on. Right yourself, right yourself. Explode decoupler. Then I shall be stable. No. So if we don't point down, we'll slow down quickly enough and we'll stay alive. Or we'll keep Ludo coming alive. And admiring the dials. Even though 'tis but a tourist. And we're descending safely. Make sure your decoupler's oriented the right way. If we'd oriented it the other way, so if you look at this little triangle, the base of the triangle is where it is attached to, and the pointy bit is the end that fires off. we'd rotated it the other way, it would have stayed attached to the booster and would have pushed away the capsule, which is the way around we want. But that's okay, so let's jettison the heat shield. I should have the barometer because I don't know the pressure. Because I've been wanting to have it so that the main parachutes extend at the point where the drogue chutes open up. Oh, this sounds exciting. Let's spice things up and cut a parachute. There we go, still falling into safe speed. Yep, that's the right parachute to cut. There we are. Full, Ludo, full. Now, there's no point. Well, there's a little point, but it'll just be much the same for the other tourists. And that'll just make this video a bit too long and possibly boring. So what we're going to do is when this stops oscillating, we'll cover it. Then we'll go to the other cable and space. Lovely bit of valve and make our land. Have a negligible science, good. Tracking stations. And then what we can do, now that we've upgraded the what's it? Now, science thingies, science juniors, have a tendency of breaking when re-entering. And if they break, you can't get the science from them. Fair enough. So what we've done is we've taken the science out of it and put it in the crew cabin, just for safety, to guarantee that we get the science from it. So where in orbit are we? Let's orbit around to here or so. Then we'll turn retrograde. No, that's prograde. And we'll slow down till our heart's desire. That seems reasonable enough for landing at the KSC. There we go. We have no orbital control. Got directional control, like orientation, but we can't affect our landing spot now. Hi, Roll.
Did you know studying for today?
I finished studying for today.
What should I do with my 1 hour?
Until what? Until sleepy time.
Basically.
Okay. And
should I
read
a book? I already read school for the first time. Oh shoot. Actually. Yeah. I can I don't know. I don't feel like doing anything.
Do you want to watch something together? Okay. Oh, okay. Wouldn't be a bad thing. Then you can have a longer line. By what Variable. So the progress I've made on it today is I took the pieces to the workshop so that the technician is able to do the controlled damage. I don't. I don't. And then I will. Yes. What I am doing tomorrow though, even though I don't have any, is I'm going to the Jet Lab to do some thrust testing of the motors that I bought. Mm-hmm. Okay. No, I'll call back before sleep by then. But it's, I'm distracted by other things, so I'll call you back by then. And we're having our gentle re-entry. We're not going to make it to KSC. Oh well, we're not far off then. Now keep the heat shield. It's worth money. Let's get the barometric readout. So yeah, it is about 65, 67 kilopascals. Oh no. We're landing on a slope. This could get interesting. Slow down. There we go. And kind of clear report, which means we're at the foothills. So we can get more science. Yay. And an EVA report. Tow the vessel. Get our science. Yay. Now let's look at our available missions. Let us so come back next episode for a fly by the. Oh, why have we got too many contracts? Yes. Anyway, come back next episode for a flyby of the month. That's all, folks. See you next week.